Hello and welcome to YogaFest 2020, COVID style. Hopefully this will be the only time we have to do our YogaFest this way. So if you're brand new to YogaFest or have never heard of Song of the Morning Ranch, you need to make sure it's on your to-do list for COVID-19, post-COVID-19. Be sure you get to the retreat and visit the 800 blessed acres that we have there. It's a very wonderful spiritual community. So make sure that's on your to-do list if you haven't been there. If you have, you know what I'm talking about. But I just want to briefly show you here. We usually don't have all this set up in our home, but we did just finish doing a ceremony, so we kept the flowers and the masters on the altar and so forth. So if you are new, this is our lineage. On your right, Yogacharya, up here and down here, is the founder of Song of the Morning. And then it goes step by step, gurus. So his guru is Paramahansa Yogananda, who again is down here, and so on. Sri Yuteshwar, Lahiri Mahashai, Babaji, Krishna, and Jesus. So that's the lineage. So this class this morning is supposed to be gentle yoga, so that is what we'll be doing. And in any yoga class that you're in, regardless of the style, be sure to listen to your body. Only do what's comfortable for you. And be sure that, you're listening. But it is our duty to keep our bodies healthy. And they say the importance of the spinal column and all our joints and so on and so forth. So we need to keep moving that. Our motion, and like your meditation, nobody's going to do it for you. So you need to make sure that, if you're interested in keeping your body as healthy as you can, that you are doing some form of practice. And I thought this morning also, or today, that teachers often tell you to set an intention for your practice. And I thought trying to keep this, as it's usually, at Song of the Morning, in the spiritual community, that we would think about setting our intention on the divine, and keeping that our intention throughout the practice. So just coming to a comfortable seat right now. And again, that can be on your mat. You can have a pillow under your bottom to prop you up. It could be in a chair. We're just going to come to a quiet seat for a few breaths as we just close our eyes and begin to connect with the breath. Just observing it. We're not trying to control it in any way. Just being the observer. And as you do that, I want to read something from Paramahansa Yogananda. Again, just about making that divine the center of our life. And you might call that, it could be God, it could be Father, Mother, Friend, Beloved God, Almighty, whatever name resonates with you for the divine, which is omnipresent, meaning it is in everything. God is omnipresent. He's in each and every one of us. He, she. God is not a he or a she. God is omnipresent. It's everything. So he's in the mat. He's in each and every one of us. He's in everything in nature. He's in the couches, the pillows. So God is everywhere. So that divine is everywhere. When in every action you think of him before you act, while you are performing the action, and after you have finished it, he will reveal himself to you. You must work, but let God work through you. This is the best part of devotion. If you are constantly thinking he is walking through your feet, working through your hands, accomplishing through your will, you will know him. So for our time together, again, keeping that as our intention. Being with us in every action we do this morning. So trying to keep that focus, knowing that energy follows attention. So we want to keep our energy on what we're doing this morning. So again, with those eyes closed, we are in a seated meditation here. We want to make sure the spine is long from tailbone through the top of the head. Again, our eyes are closed. We're relaxing a little more deeply with each breath. Most importantly, we use that eye mudra, gently rolling the eyeballs up in their sockets, focusing our attention at the mid-spot between the eyebrows, our spiritual eye, our organ of psychical sight. The Bible says, if thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be filled with light. Take heed ye therefore that the light within you be not darkness. So letting the shoulders soften away from the ears if they're hunched up at all. Hands can be placed at the junction between the thighs and the abdomen or anywhere that is comfortable on your leg from knee on up. Elbows might be gently pulled together, always making modifications for your body, for your comfort. Elbows might be gently pulled together, which helps to expand the chest box for rhythmic breathing. And just coming to that sense of the divine being in us, in each breath we take. Coming to gratitude here for this opportunity, although it be, not a regular opportunity for YogaFest, being grateful for this opportunity to be together virtually. Taking in what you can, whatever little pearl you can get from any of the classes that are being offered. Take that with you. Observing the inhales. Maybe visualizing them going up the spine to the spiritual eye. Observing the exhale, perhaps going down again to the tailbone. Breathing in, breathing out, raising the energy. And then gently opening the eyes. I also would like to suggest, if you have been at Song of the Morning at YogaFest, you know all the different areas there. You might have a favorite area you like to take the class, whether it be the wheelhouse or the boathouse or the big tent or the platform. Wherever those classes are held, the domes. As we go through this class, perhaps you even visualize yourself being in that environment. So just a suggestion, visualizing that place that you like to be when you visit. And if your legs have been crossed, I want you to go ahead and lengthen them out and give the knees a few bounces. And then sitting with that spine straight, we're going to point the toes forward and pull back. You can use your hands for support to help you to keep that spine straight, or if that's not an issue for you, sitting with a nice long spine but yet comfortable, go ahead and have the hands on the legs as we point toes forward and pull back, forward and back. And let's alternate that movement. So again, doing some gentle movements here that go ahead and rotate the ankles, that are going to work all the major joints in the body. We're going to be change the direction of the rotation. We'll be bending the spine in the 6 different directions that are important. Go ahead and do heel toe points again. We'll be doing a balancing pose and an inversion, and those are important components of any yoga class. Okay, stopping that movement, regardless of the style, that a class should have those components. So go ahead and take this right leg and put the foot along the inner thigh, or perhaps draw it up on top. Just gently pressing the knee toward the mat. So I got my training through the Golden Lotus Teachers Association, which has been, around for a long time. Yogacharya started the organization. And I started going to Song of the Morning in the early 70s. I got my training a little later in the 70s. Go ahead and take that leg out. Bringing the left foot in, either starting here, just gently pressing down, or if your flexibility allows, drawing that leg up on top. And again, gently pressing the knees toward the mat. So GLYTA is still in existence. We do still do teacher training. And if you are interested, just contact Song of the Morning and they can certainly put you in touch with our teacher trainers. Go ahead and extend that leg. And again, give a few bounces here. Next we'll come to rocking the baby. So we're going to take the leg in our arm somewhere that works for you. It might bringing the foot into the crook of the arm, wrapping around, maybe interlacing the fingers. But again, here you want to try to keep that spine straight. A tendency here to curl in. So go ahead and just rock gently back and forth, getting into that hip joint. So already here we're lubricating all the joints in the legs. So 3 of our major joints, ankle, knees, and hips. And of course the other major joints are our wrists, elbows, and shoulders. Remembering our motion is our lotion, so we need to continue to have motion in our body and lubricate all these joints, especially as we age. Go ahead and take that leg down and going to the other side. Again, finding your place with this leg, noticing the sensation you might feel in that hip. Hips are our main weight-bearing joint in the body, so we really need to take care of them. Go ahead and take that leg down and give a few bounces. Eyes can be closed if you know what we're doing. Go ahead and draw the soles of the feet together. Again, just a suggestion, when we close our eyes, it helps us to draw our attention more inward. And again, just a reminder as we go through things, not only we're going to butterfly the legs, just gently moving them up and down. So we're trying to keep our attention on what we're doing, but again, also this morning, we're offering that to the divine, or trying to connect with that through our activity. So gently up and down like the wings of a butterfly. Go ahead and pull the trunk of the body just slightly forward. You'll increase the edge here. And again, anything I offer are suggestions. You back off if something doesn't feel right, if it's too much. Creating edges helps you to create more flexibility within the body. So if you're comfortable with creating edges, that's a good thing. If one of your goals with a Hatha Yoga Class is to increase your flexibility, which is important. We get pretty rigid and stiff, not only physically, but often mentally. So we need to work on flexibility there too with our meditation and affirmation and so on. So just leaning into that, feeling that edge. We're going to breathe, and that exhale is our relaxing, it's our letting go. So every exhale, you send to where you're feeling sensation, giving it permission to release, to relax. Adding a few trunk rotations here, so just very gently, and it's okay here to just let the neck be loose. Let it rotate with the body. And then change direction. And we'll stop the rotation and move those legs up and down a few more times. Go ahead and lengthen out. Give the legs a few bounces. So either staying here, we're going to go to neck and shoulders now. So if you're not comfortable in a cross-legged seat, by all means, you don't need to sit cross-legged. And if you would like to have a chair beside you for neck and shoulder exercises, again, that's an option. There are always ways to get a yoga practice into your routine. And I know one of our teachers will be doing a chair class, so make sure you check that out too. Let's come to the shoulders and just give a few rotations. So drawing up by the ears, down and back. Carry a lot of tension in the shoulder area and the trapezius muscles, and this is a simple, gentle exercise. Change your direction that can help to alleviate that tension. Let the shoulders fall down away from the ears. We'll bring fingertips up and do some circles. Go ahead and change direction. So lubricating the shoulders. And then with elbows out, go ahead and open wide. Open through the chest, kind of squeeze those shoulder blades together. So expansion in the chest, contraction in the back. We're always doing opposites, and both are good and both are important. When we exhale, draw those elbows together. Now we compress the chest. We get that expansion through the shoulders and upper back. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Inhale, open. And exhale, close. Good. Go ahead and take the hands back down. Just rest them on the knees. Let's take a cleansing breath. Inhale. Double exhale out the mouth. Once again, inhale. And release. Coming to the neck area, again, an area that we carry a lot of tension, especially in those upper neck vertebrae as the spinal column gets very narrow in that area. So we have a series of neck exercises that we're taught to teach in our GLYTA training. So go ahead and drop the chin, chest. Again, hands are where they're comfortable for you. Again, you want to be able to keep the spine as straight as possible, because we're just dropping the chin and tucking it in. And immediately you might feel the stretch, the sensation in the neck. Perhaps a lot, maybe a little. We'll go ahead and inhale the head up. And exhaling, just gently let it fall back. Only as far as is comfortable. We're always careful with the neck vertebrae. We'll inhale, center, and exhaling, drop the chin. Inhale, head to center. Exhaling, gently let it fall back, taking a few breaths here. So we're getting the stretching now in the throat, even to the upper chest, compression in the vertebrae, in the back of the neck. We'll inhale, center. Exhaling, we tuck the chin. Again, now compressing in the throat area. This actually helps the thyroid, parathyroid gland. It helps circulation to the throat area, but we're decompressing those neck vertebrae, creating some space. Inhale back to center. And exhaling, let's just let the shoulders soften away from the ears. Next, we'll be tipping the head in each direction. So with these neck exercises, I mentioned earlier about bending the spine in 6 different directions. We take a little extra time with those neck vertebrae, making sure we're doing those 6 movements for the neck. So we've gone forward, backward. Now we'll go side to side. So taking your inhaling breath gently, exhaling, letting the ear fall toward the shoulder, as if you're pouring water from the ear. Inhaling back to center. Exhaling, opposite direction. Noticing where your mind is, drawing it back perhaps to your intention. Inhaling center, exhaling ear to shoulder. Perhaps in the back of your mind you're saying God, God, God. Inhaling center, exhaling opposite direction. Inhaling center. Now we go into the twist. Exhaling as we peek over the shoulder. Taking a few breaths here. Inhaling center. And exhaling opposite direction. Inhaling center. Exhaling, turning the head. Inhaling center and exhaling opposite direction. We'll inhale center, exhaling, go ahead and drop the chin. And then we're going to gently do neck rotations, 3 in each direction, only if they're comfortable for your neck. Take the right head up and over the right shoulder and back. We'll exhale left and down. We'll inhale over right shoulder and back. Exhaling left and down. We'll inhale right and back. We'll exhale left and down. Now change your direction. Inhaling left and back, exhaling right and down, inhaling left and back, exhaling right and down, inhaling left and back, and exhaling right and down. We have the head down before we bring it back up. Let's just do a little bit of pendulum type movement here. So our inhale will take the head as if you're trying to peek up toward the ceiling in either direction. It doesn't matter what way you go first. We exhale back to center. Inhaling, we try to peek up the other way. We exhale back to center. So just a couple more like that. And next time chin is at center, tuck that chin in toward the collarbone on either side. It gives a little different stretch in the neck. Breathing here a few times. We're only going to do this once on each side. Bring the chin back to center and then tuck into the collarbone on the other side. Bring the chin to center and exhale, head up in line with the spine. Let's take a cleansing breath. Inhale, drawing in oxygen, double exhale, releasing not only carbon dioxide, poisons and toxins, but any sense of stress. That cleansing breath can be used anytime during the day. I use it a lot. I don't use it just for when I'm practicing or teaching a Hatha Yoga class. It's just a nice release that kind of resets you. And sometimes it might take a few, depending on the state of your mind at the time in daily activity. So from here, we've been sitting cross-legged. Let's go ahead and stretch those legs out again and just give a few bounces here. Let's take our arms out long with a nice straight spine. Again, I'm going to go sideways here. So again, that nice length here, maybe even pulling the fleshy part of the buttocks back so you're on the forward portion of the sit bone. We're going to inhale those arms out long, and we're not rushing. A deep, slow inhale. And exhaling, gently folding forward. First we hinge. And then when you can't hinge anymore, just fold in. Let the arms become limp. Let the spine curl in, let the chin draw in toward the throat. Just let the head hang. Gravity here, taking care of everything. We're not forcing, we're not striving. Breathing in, maybe picking up just an inch or so, and exhaling, softening into that space. We're going to continue to breathe here, thinking about the benefits of this simple, really gentle pose if you're not forcing anything. Again, gravity is kind of taking care of things. We're getting a stretch really from the heels, and you can gently pull your toes back here all the way up the calves. And if you're really tight in the legs, you might bend your knees a little bit. Always okay to do that. You're taking care of your body. A stretch through the hamstrings, up the buttocks, from, again, tailbone through the top of the head. All the back muscles are getting a stretch. And on the inside here, we're compressing a little bit. So we're getting that compression in the abdominal area, squeezing our intestinal tract, our tummy, helping to promote proper elimination and digestion. But we're stretching all the muscles, the nerves, the ligaments here. With your inhale, let's stretch those arms out in front gently, drawing up with your inhale. We're going to draw palms together and exhale in front of heart center. Let's do that one more time, but let's inhale the arms up with palms together this time, bringing them up so that the ears almost touch the bicep. And again, exhaling, hinging in. Hinge, hinge, hinge. When you can't hinge, fold. And if you wish to create a deeper edge here this time, go ahead and take the calf, ankle, instep, or maybe even pull the toes back. But release any tightness you might feel in the neck, or maybe you're feeling it in the lower back. Send your energy there, especially those exhalations. Send them there. Tell your lower back it's okay, relax. But again, a nice squeeze to the abdominal area, the intestinal tract. We'll take our arms out in front again. We'll inhale up. Draw palms together. Draw it all into the heart center with your exhale. Taking hands down. And now maybe come to cross-legged again. And from here, we're going to do a simple seated spinal twist. So just coming into your comfortable seat, and again, spinal twist can be done with legs long. You don't have to be cross-legged. Actually, here we're going to do a side bend, a twist, and a gentle forward-backward fold. So from seated here, it's kind of a simple flow that you can get those 6 movements of the spine in. So in this comfortable seat, we're going to start with side bend. So taking the arms out long, we're going to inhale up. Exhaling, bending to the right. So take right hand to the mat as we bend to the right with the left arm up and over. So a nice long side body stretch on the left side. A nice compression on the right. We're making sure we keep that left cheek buttock on the floor so we're not lifting up. That defeats some of the stretch. And we're just breathing here. We'll inhale back to center and exhaling opposite direction. We'll inhale center. Now we're exhaling into a twist. So right hand to left knee, left arm goes around the back, kind of acts like a kickstand if you need that to help you keep that length. Our head turns to peek over that left shoulder, and if you don't need that hand, go ahead and wrap it around the lower back, maybe even reaching for the hip pocket. And we breathe here. We never force or strain in spinal twists, but yet they're so important on so many levels, not only physically, but also spiritually. All our chakras from the base of the spine on up are activated here as we twist, especially the heart center. This is a big heart opener here as we draw that left shoulder gently back. And we breathe again, inhaling up the spine, maybe all the way to the spiritual eye. And we exhale that energy down the spine. Again, checking where your attention is. Maybe bringing it back to your intention or any area in the body where you're feeling tightness. Sending that relaxing breath to that area. With an inhale, let's just kind of wing the arms up, uplifting, maybe even gazing up as we take a twist on the other side. Again, you decide for your hand if it's a kickstand. Sometimes I make a fist and kind of prop it at the tailbone a little bit to help me draw that shoulder back. Or again, reaching around for the hip pocket. This left hand on the knee can act as a little bit of leverage to go deeper. But again, according to your body and your experience and how much you've practiced spinal twists, you decide how deep you go. Taking about 4 more breaths here. And then coming out, let's inhale the arms up. We're going to do a little back bend, coming into our back bend. And exhaling, folding in. So here again, depending on your body, you might fold in here, you might need arms on legs, or you can walk the hands out to whatever level is good for you for this forward fold. Maybe your forehead comes right to the floor. Maybe you bend the elbows and stack the hands, or maybe you have a block on hand to rest your forehead. Finding ease and comfort in the pose. Go ahead and tuck the chin in a little bit if you like. Go ahead and draw the head in line with the spine, walk the hands back. And now we'll go through those 3 movements, 1 breath, 1 movement. So we'll take our arms out long and gear this to your breath, not necessarily to mine. With an inhale, we'll take the arms up. Exhale to the right, side bend. Inhale, center. Be nice and slow, exhaling opposite direction. Inhale, center. Exhaling, twisting to the left. Inhaling, center. Exhaling to the right. Inhaling, center and back. Exhaling, folding in. Inhaling, drawing yourself up. Okay, good job. We're going to come on over. Now 2 hands and knees. Well, actually, we're coming into child's pose. So let's do extended child, which means 2 toe mounds together with knees separated. If this does not work for you, you always have the option of doing this variation, and both definitely have their benefits. So if you're with me, knees are spread. We're walking our hands out, coming into that extended child's pose. If you need props, you could have a pillow under your bottom. You could have a block or something to rest your forehead on. You could also use your hands as props. Taking a few breaths here in extended child. Go ahead and draw yourself up to a table position now. So as we come to table, we're going to do a few cat-cows, which is a pretty traditional pose these days in yoga classes. But you want to check your alignment, wrist, elbow, shoulder in alignment, and so forth. I like to kind of zip my navel in a little bit, helping to protect the lower back, especially if there's issues there, so there's a little bit of engagement in the tummy as we come to table. So with an inhale, we're going to kind of let that tummy drop as we gently push hands into the floor. So this is a little back bend here. And our exhale is going to slowly draw us up into that cat stretch. We're going to tuck that chin in. So here we are again, decompressing the vertebrae. You might feel a lot in the lower back, but we've got that compression in the whole front side of the body. Plus we're strengthening our arms here. So with an inhale, drop. Just a few now, one breath, one movement. Our exhale takes us into that cat stretch. So maybe just a couple more. And we'll exhale to our table position. So in our table here, we'll just do a spinal balance here. This is a balancing pose, but you'll find it's also very, very strengthening for the core of the body and other areas, for the hips, and of course we're still on our arms here. So we're going to take our right leg back first, and I like to curl the toes under and just let that heel push back so I get that stretch in the back of the leg first, all the way down to underneath the toe mounds. We'll inhale that leg up to where it's level. Tendency here to drop off to the left. Try to draw that hip back to center here. Your foot as if you're putting a footprint on the wall. Then take that left arm forward if available. If not, just keep the leg up, or just the arm and take the leg down. So this is a balance, but it's a very, very strengthening pose. Head is in line with the spine, so if eyes are open, it's kind of down at the mat. With an exhale, come back to your table. Let's go to the left side. Curl left toes under as you push left heel back. And always an option here too. If you have wrist issues, you could come to something like this. Also, option to take the hand out a little further, take some of that weight off the wrist. So pushing left heel back, we'll inhale that leg up. Again, as if you're putting a footprint on the wall, but trying to keep the hips level. We'll take the right arm and lengthen it out in front. Head stays in line with the spine. And taking about 3 more breaths here. And exhaling back to your table. Maybe wag the tail a little bit. This gets a nice stretch on the outer side of the hips and buttocks. And we'll go one more time, this time taking arm and leg up at the same time. So right leg and left arm. Taking right leg out, left arm out. Maybe again zipping that navel in, helping to protect the lower back. But being able to breathe, trying to find ease here. Exhaling back. And switching side, left leg, right arm. Maybe you even make those fingers bright. Thumb should be pointing to the ceiling. And exhaling back. We'll drop our heels, drop our bottom to the heels, nice counter pose for that to release anything in the lower back. Again, let the forehead or top of the head come to the mat, or using your hands if you need to. Let's maybe even take a cleansing breath here. Go ahead and draw your arms out in front, nice and long. Take your bottom up. Have knees about hip width apart. We're going to curl those toes under. We're headed to down dog here, so if that's a very familiar pose for you, you kind of know where your body needs to be. But let's first, before we go again, just have those toes curled under and kind of push that bottom back, getting that stretch along the bottoms of the feet. Sometimes our feet do a whole lot for us all day long, right? So we really need to give them some attention with, stretching and massage and so forth. Now go ahead and draw up. We'll notice our inhale and exhaling bottoms up into that inverted V. Maybe come up onto the tippy toes first, and then let your heels just soften toward the mat. Let your head hang heavy. So again, let gravity pull it down. And let's walk it out a little bit here, getting in the addition of a little more calf and hamstring stretch and little ankle work, and again stretching underneath the feet. So this is considered an inversion. We're increasing circulation to the head, neck, and throat area. Very strengthening for arms and shoulders. Let's stop any movement. And of course, we're getting that stretch. Really, if heels are up off the mat like mine are a little bit, we're getting a stretch all the way from the tips of the toes, all the way to the top of the head, all along the legs, back between the shoulders. Again, head hanging heavy, down dog. Go ahead, we're going to draw our feet between our hands, so you might take one long step, or it might take you a few to get there, into a forward fold at the front of your mat. Go ahead and take a bind at the elbows. Again, just let the head hang heavy here. Try to be balanced on your feet. When we come to this forward fold, there's a tendency to be back in the heels a little bit. So go ahead and move that bottom forward a little bit. You'll notice a change in the stretch in the legs. Be sure not to lock out your knees, but have a little softness there. So again, forward folds. Good for the whole body. We did this seated earlier, very similar benefits, but here we're on our feet, so we're helping to strengthen the leg joints and so forth, our hips. Go ahead and release the bind, put a little bend in the knees, and just draw yourself up. Coming into standing mountain, and we'll let the shoulders soften down and away from the ears. Let's take a cleansing breath here. So when we come to standing, or just in our general everyday activities, we want to be aware of our posture. If you look at people's postures at all, you'll notice that very often there's way too much slumping in and the head jutting forward. So in general, we want to be able to stay upright. It's so important just for our general health and breathing to have this openness in the chest. The whole body structure, because, if you've got the head forward, you've got all that extra weight of the head kind of, jutting the neck and so forth. So in general, good posture is ankle under knee, knee under hip. There's kind of an alignment there. Hips under shoulders. Shoulders relaxed away from the ears. Head basically in alignment with the spine, with a slight openness to the chest box. It's not a forceful openness. We don't walk around like that, but we don't want to walk around like that either. So letting those shoulders soften from the ears. Let's do a cleansing breath again. So we're going to go into another gentle, simple flow here, with this being a gentle class from standing, that will bend the spine in those 6 different directions. And I think I'll turn forward for you to do this. So we're going to inhale those arms out and up. And exhale, we're going to come into a side bend. This is called half moon in our teacher training. Today I have my hands palms together with my fingers steepled. My head is between the arms, so if that's available to you, do that. but yet relaxed. So I don't have my joints locked out, but a softness from the shoulders and the elbows, but yet my ears are between my biceps. So we've exhaled into that side bend. We're going to inhale back to center and exhaling opposite direction. We try to make it a direct side bend, not forward, not backward, but directly to the side. So we'll inhale back to center, a little back bend here, and exhaling. Let's fold in by drawing our arms forward this morning, or coming into that forward fold. We'll inhale to a halfway lift, and exhaling, fold in. We'll put a little bend in the knees as we wing our arms out this time, out and up to standing. And we're going to exhale, right arm back, left arm forward, so coming into a standing twist. We'll inhale back to center, and exhaling, left arm back, right arm forward. We'll inhale back to center, and exhale in front of the heart. And one more time, more one breath, one movement. We'll inhale, arms out. Exhale, side bend. We'll inhale, center. Exhaling, side bend. We'll inhale, center, back bend. And exhaling again, reaching out with the arms, zip that navel in toward the spine. Exhaling into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhaling, fold in. Little bend in the knees as we wing the arms out and up. Exhaling, right arm back, left arm forward. Inhaling, center. Exhaling, left arm back, right arm forward. Inhaling, center. And exhale, hands in front of heart center. Cleansing breath. And drawing yourself down to your mat. As we come here, let's put a bend in the knees, sitting up nice and straight, but then taking a little grasp underneath as you lean yourself back. We'll take our arms forward. We're going to inhale and trying to use the core as we slowly take ourselves back to our mats. You might tuck the chin in here. Draw the navel in, and slowly coming back down. We'll go ahead and hug the knees in. A little cradle rock, just releasing anything in the lower back. Then we'll extend the legs up. Another inversion here, candlestick pose. You can stack the hands underneath the tailbone to get a little added elevation in the legs. It's good to get the legs above the head. So I like to do inversions with my legs up, either candlestick or half shoulder stand. But I also really like down dog, which is considered an inversion. And to me, they're very different. So trying to include both in a practice. Go ahead and unstack the hands if they were under your tailbone, having the arms palms down here beside you. And go ahead and gently push the heels out, and if your core strength, abdominal strength and back are okay, go ahead and lower the legs together, helping to strengthen those muscles. Go ahead and put a gentle bend back in the knees, spreading the feet apart. Just a little bit of windshield wiper before we come into a Shavasana pose. And head can go in opposite direction of the knees. Just a nice, gentle twist to the spine. So not too fast, just a slow, gentle windshield wiper. And then go ahead and lengthen your legs out. Let's take a cleansing breath together here. Inhale. And let it all go. One more like that. Inhale and release. And go ahead and get any wiggles or jiggles out. You might bounce the legs a few times, cha-cha the hips. You might put a bend in the elbow and shake out the wrists. Or wiggle the shoulders. Turning the head in an arch-like movement right to left. Just slowly decreasing that arch until your head comes to its natural resting spot. Shavasana or sponge pose. It's a posture of receiving. Like a sponge, it's saturated with the water. We're allowing our body to receive, become saturated with all the benefits of our practice today, physically, mentally, and spiritually. Let the facial muscles relax. Don't hold any tension in the jaw or tongue. Maybe gently uplift the eyes again at the mid-spot between the eyebrows. Checking in with the feet that they're relaxed. Maybe even wiggling the toes. Moving that relaxation up to the calves and shins, the knees, the upper legs. Your pelvic floor, let it relax. Your buttocks, your tummy, let it sink in with each breath. So we're not trying to control the breath, we're just letting it be. Relaxing lower back, middle chest, middle back, upper chest, and upper back. Arms are relaxed from fingertips, which are curled in, through the wrists, lower arms, upper arms. Shoulders, check those shoulders that they're not kind of hunched up by the earlobes. Maybe draw them down a little bit. Slight openness again in this heart center. And of course the chin and jaw, everything's relaxed. Just enjoying this final pose together. And then with eyes closed, gently draw yourself up to a cross-legged position. And where we started, just making that movement gently. And again, keeping that attention. So finishing here with one of my favorite poems from Paramahansa Yogananda, along the same vein of what I read earlier about God being present in everything, the divine. So it's called God, God, God. From the depths of slumber, as I ascend the spiral stairway of wakefulness, I whisper, God, God, God. Thou art the food, and when I break my fast of nightly separation from thee, I taste thee and mentally say, God, God, God. No matter where I go, the spotlight of my mind ever keeps turning on thee, and in the battle din of activity, my silent war cry is ever, God, God, God. When boisterous storms of trials shriek and worries howl at me, I drown their noises loudly chanting, God, God, God. When my mind weaves dreams with threads of memories, of that magic cloth I do emboss, God, God, God. Every night in the time of deepest sleep, my peace dreams and calls, joy, joy, joy. And my joy comes singing evermore, God, God, God. In waking, eating, working, dreaming, sleeping, serving, meditating, chanting, divinely loving, my soul constantly hums, unheard by any, God, God, God. So thank you so much for joining me for our gentle yoga COVID-19 Yoga Fest. Namaste.